All right, so you just opened up FL. You're like, what the F is going on? You have no clue what anything is. You're looking around. You're like, what is this button? Do I have to learn all 20 of these icons? The answer is no. And I got some bad news for you, which is that you're hooked for life. Good news is that I'm going to make this super simple for you to learn FL Studio. If you don't know me, I'm Game from BusyWorks Beats.com. We trained over 1 million producers around the world. So I'm going to work with Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, Polo G, Trippie Redd, Lil Baby, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, long list of other folks. And we've just worked with cool folks. So what I'm going to show you guys today is, if you know nothing about FL Studio, I will literally show you how to make your first beat, probably in under 20 minutes if I don't talk too much, and show you how cool it is. So the first thing in FL is to simplify it. All these buttons at the top of your screen, you don't have to memorize those. Okay, you only have to know 5 buttons, which are these 5 buttons here. So if you click around and just kind of click these first 5 buttons, you'll get the hang of like opening and closing stuff. In short, this first button is where you put all the puzzle pieces together. This is called the playlist, this little first button here. Okay, this is where we add in puzzle pieces and we remove puzzle pieces, basically. Okay, here is what we call the piano roll. In my opinion, as a beginner, you want to make the piano roll as big as you can. So if you guys ever struggle with MIDI notes and like writing melodies and stuff, and your piano roll looks like this, you're going to struggle for life. I won't say life, but you're going to struggle for a long time because the screen is too small. So if you're trying to make melodies on a screen this small, it's going to be a very hard process. So to make it big, click this little maximize button in the top to make the screen nice and full. Piano roll is usually full screen. So anytime I open the piano roll, it's always full screen. Okay. And nextly is what's called the channel rack. Think of the channel rack like how we build out the puzzle piece. You know how puzzle pieces have like, some have curves and some have indentures, and then some have like other curves. Some are pointy, some have edges on them. So channel rack is where we design the shape of the puzzle. Okay, and the playlist is where we put the puzzle together. And I usually keep the playlist full screen too. The quick way to do it is just double click on the little top banner, and you could just left click your little puzzle pieces in here. Couple, kind of standards I would recommend. Let's go to the playlist here. Go to the top left, this little drop down arrow. We're going to go, excuse me, not the drop down. We're going to go to the magnet icon, and we're going to go to bar. So this is called snap to grid. So anytime I'm doing something in the playlist, I want it to line up. So if I don't have this on anything and I just click around, I'm going to be like misaligning stuff all over the place. It's going to be a headache. So let's go to snap to grid bar. Okay, so that's going to keep it really simple for you. And all right, let's get started. So and then I didn't show you the mixer here. So the mixer is where you add effects. Like if I take my effects off my voice, here's what I really sound like. I sound like a little child. When I add my effects, boom, I sound like a man, just like that. Okay, so that's what we can do in the mixer. We can add effects to different sounds, like our synthesizers, our microphones, our drums, etc., 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 etc. Okay, so that's how that works in the mixer. We get to separate the sounds. And then this 5th button here is called the browser. So the browser is where you browse for dope bass sounds, any really dope sound. Now, this is the part that you should do first, and this is the part that I can't do for you guys. Okay. But if you do want to learn FL Studio like in depth, go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. I have a free FL Studio 21 course for you guys there. But in short is that whenever you guys are finding your drums, that is probably 99.7% of becoming a music producer. Like until you get your hands on these bongos that sound fire, like you're going to be making beats that sound like it, but not really like it. Okay, so your number one task as a beginner, I'm going to say this probably 5 more times. Your number one task as a hip hop music producer, as an R&B music producer, as a EDM person, find the drum kits for your genre. Find the samples for your genre. They're not going to come with your DAW. You got to go out and search, whether it's Reddit, whether it's somebody's drum website, whether it's Drumify, whether it's whoever has kits. I don't even know people with kits anymore. Drum Broker, whether it's Beat Butcher. Okay, go out and find all of the dope sound designers and find their sounds, okay? Because without sounds, you really can't do much. And I'll give you guys the project files for free, so no worries on trying to like memorize everything. All right, so if you want to follow along step by step, follow me. Firstly, what we're going to do is label these tracks. So here we're going to get into workflow mode. If you haven't logged into your FL, make sure you click the help tab at the top and then go to where it says about. And then that's how you log in to claim your FL Studio license. Okay, so we're going to save this. Let's go to where it says file. You guys can't see the file tab because my screen isn't all the way. We're going to save as, let's call this beginner beat making. I've been talking for 5 minutes, so I promised to be under 15. Let's see how fast we can teach. Let's go to my external hard drive. Let's go to projects. I have a folder called FL Studio. What I'll do is I'll create a folder for the day. So today's October 16th. You want to stay extremely organized in the beginning, because I'm telling you guys, in the future, 4 years from now, you're going to look back like, darn, I can't find my project where I did a little Uzi Vert beat. Now you got to go through like all these projects just to find one project. So let's label this beginner beat making FL Studio. The more organized you are, the more successful you will be. Guaranteed. Let's hit save. All right, so all we've done so far is just save a project. Congratulations. If you followed those steps, you now have your first project saved. I'm going to turn on my keyboard just in case we need more sounds here. All right, so I turn on my synths that don't come with the DAW, but just in case you want to add some vibes to this track. All right, so next step is creating the layers. So what we're going to do here is open up the playlist, this screen here. Let's close out the browser to add more space. We're going to right click where it says track 1, and let's label this. So beats and songs have 4 layers. They have a top line layer. This is the memorable melody. You have the harmony section, which is your chord structure, like where you add the, the chords and the chord progression. The third layer is called the contrast layer. This is where you usually add your bass or sounds that are just different from the top line. And then you have your fourth layer, which is your rhythm section. Okay, so I'll label this for you guys. So we have the top line, that's like, your highest frequencies of a track. You have the harmony section, contrast section, and then the rhythm section. Now, with these 4 sections, you can stack this up infinitely. So once you understand those 4 buckets of a beat, everything becomes easy. My favorite place to start is harmony. Okay, build the chords first. Let's go to what's called the channel rack to start building out our puzzle pieces, aka our musical ideas. Let's go to the channel rack. We're going to right click and replace this with Flex. All right, so if you followed along so far, you have saved your project and you have now opened up your first plugin in FL Studio. Smash the like if you were following through. Smash that like button. Just go ahead and do it. All right, take the time. I'll wait 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you. All right, let's go to the get button here. And we're going to download where it says Essentials. So here under the get, you want to download, yours should say Essentials Piano, Essential Guitars, Essential Strings, Essential Winds, Essential Bass Guitar. I've already downloaded mine, but you want to go to the Get tab and make sure you download the free packs. Now that you have downloaded all that, let's go to Piano. Now, whenever you're struggling with music in general, it's probably best to write with stringed instruments. Piano is a stringed instrument. It has strings underneath the hood of a piano, grand piano. A guitar is a stringed instrument. Orchestral instruments are stringed. Is that a word? Stringed instruments? They're string instruments. Okay, so start with string instruments first and then swap out the sounds if you have to. Okay, so here we're going to go to Steinway D, which is a piano. And let's go to takeoff reverb, takeoff limiter, takeoff master filter. So now we just have a plain old piano. Now, if you can't figure out how to make sounds, click this little typing keyboard to piano keyboard. Make sure this is on. And now you can use your typing keyboard on your computer to make stuff. Okay, so you can right click to switch out the settings. What I would recommend is you just right click, hit reset. In short, it basically puts it on layout piano, root note C, octave 4. So that's what it does in those steps. I'm running out of breath, so I need y'all to smash that like button. We have 7 more minutes to go. Okay, let's start moving faster here. Now that we have our sound open, we need to first hit Control L. That will send the sound to the mixer and name it for us. If you don't see this number on the left side, hit Alt M on your keyboard to hide or reveal that. First thing we need to do is create chords. So what I do, I go to the playlist, I drag in a pattern. Okay, I like to build inside of as I'm listening to the beat. We're going to turn the metronome on. We're going to turn blend overdub on. We're going to turn the link on. We're going to turn the 3.2.1 on. If you guys don't see this view right here, this is just my view, but you can click the drop down, go to view, go to behind clips, switch it to solid. That's why my screen looks different, but I'll reset it back to normal for you guys. Okay, so here's what it looks like. Now, if I hit spacebar, it's just playing the metronome sound and nothing's playing, but that's fine. We want to build as we're listening. Okay, that's gonna be a good habit for you guys over time. So we're gonna stretch this out for about 4 bars. Now we're at 140 BPM. In hip hop, this is double time. Okay, so even though we're at 140, we're really technically at 70 BPM. So don't be tricked by the number 4. It's really 2. But we're not trying to make stuff complicated right this second. I have song structure masterclasses on my channel for free. All right. So now we have this stretch to 4. Let's hit Control B. This is latch paste. Latch paste. Okay, so if you do not have this stretch to the bar and you have something like this where it's not fully locked into the grid and you hit Control B, it will paste it right there, which is not on the grid. It's not going to paste right. So Control B is not copy and paste. It's latch paste. Very different than copy and paste. Okay. So now we have this. Now we have it laid out, the puzzle pieces. Now we can double click to go inside, and we can right click, go to piano roll, and now we can start adding notes. Okay, now by default, I don't know why FL comes without this turned on, but it is what it is. So click the drop down in your piano roll. Let's go to view. Let's go to where it says ghost channels for 1. You guys won't see that just yet. And then we're going to go to where it says keyboard labels, all notes. Make sure you turn on all notes, because by default, it only turns on the root notes, which how are you supposed to know how to make music this way? It's impossible. Okay, impossible to make music that way. So let's go to view, keyboard labels, all notes. Okay, turn that on so you can see every single note. All right. Let's make something easy here. Let's start here at E. And what we're going to do is change the snap to grid to 1/2 beat. I'd recommend this. If you ever mess up and you make some weird shape, hit Control L. It will truncate the note and make it longer for you guys. All right, now let's take this note. Control left click is select. Okay, and then hit Shift left click to duplicate. And then we're going to hit Control down. That will pull that note down an octave. You've now just created your first octave. Okay, so now what do we do from here? We have this note stretched out 2 bars. We're going to highlight this, hit Control. We're going to hit Shift, left click, and drag this up. So now we're going to go up a 1/2 step to F. A 1/2 step is when we go from one note directly to the note above or below. And I teach all this music theory stuff in my Music Theory Essentials course. It's the foundation of everything I teach. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/music theory essentials. I'll leave all the links below, but that's the foundational teaching for everything I teach. Okay, so here's E, and then we have F. It's pretty dope. So now this is our contrast layer. So if we remember, we were building out the harmony. So if we start here, let's go back to the playlist view. Let's highlight all these notes and let's hit Shift down. Let's move that to what's called the contrast section. So contrast is usually our bass tones. Okay, so now we want to create a harmony. Do we create the harmony in pattern 1 or do we create a new pattern? We go to a new puzzle piece. So let's go to pattern 2. You left click this little area, go to pattern 2. And on the left side, you'll see your patterns over here. You could just left click and drag it in. And we need to make it long like we did before. Now we have pattern 2, but there's no MIDI information in here. There's nothing in it. So let's double click. We need to add stuff to it. Let's right click, go to piano roll. And now we can hear pattern 2 over top of pattern 1. But we don't have anything in here. So let's start adding some stuffs. Let's add a note here at E. And then add a note at F. And we're going to take E and F. We're going to hit Control, left click, highlight, and hit Shift, left click to duplicate the notes. And we're going to hit Shift up 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This creates what's called a perfect fifth. Now that we have that, what we can do is take this further. I'm going to get into a little music theory, but we'll just kind of keep this short. We're going to hit Control, highlight these notes, and hit Shift, left click, and then we're going to hit Shift down, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we're creating a minor chord. Okay, so a minor chord, without boring y'all to tears about everything about music right now. The root note, consider this 0. We're not talking about scale degrees for all the music theory snobs out there. It's called integer notation. Okay, I call these chord codes, how to build any chord. So basically, this is the root note 0. And then we count up. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we count note by note until we fill that chord code out. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's 0, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 0, 3, 7 always makes the minor chord all the time. So that's your quick way of making chords. Now the second chord feels wrong. So what we'll do is we'll take this note here, the middle note, hit Shift up. So we hit Control to highlight, left click, and then we hit Shift up. Now that feels more correct. So usually chords are going to be major or minor chords. So that's why we start with the minor chord first. Okay, now that we have the chords, now all we have to do is just go back to the playlist. Make sure we're on song mode if I didn't make that clear. And we're going to left click, drag that in. Now my tool is on the paintbrush tool when it comes to the playlist. And now let's move into what's called the top line. We're going to go to pattern 3. So we're going to left click, switch this to pattern 3. And you might be like, okay, how do you make melodies? Well, in my opinion, the top line starts 1 octave higher than the highest note of your chords. So let's right click, go to piano roll. Now, if you guys remember, we played E, it was down here, E, and then we went up to B. So that was our top note. So now we're going to take this B, hit Control up to go up an octave, and we're going to start our melody here. There are a lot of rules with melody. I can't explain everything in 5 minutes. So I'm just going to teach you guys what notes we can add here, but I explain this in Music Theory Essentials. If you guys go to busyworksbeats.com/music theory essentials, I will guide you through building melody. I even have a new course called Melody Mastery, which goes really deep into melody. Okay, we're talking about counterpoint, counter melodies, advanced stuff, chromaticism, a lot of stuff. But for now, we're just going to give you guys some shortcuts. So if you highlight the note, the only number you really need to remember is the number 7. Okay, so we're going to take a note, hit Control, hit Shift, left click, make that duplicate note, and then hit Shift up 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then we could raise that note up 1/2 step. Okay, so we're going to copy this. So let's create like a Travis Scott vibe. And we're going to hit Shift, pull this over. The only thing we're going to change is this root note. So we're going to pull this note up to C. Actually, I might change it. Let's change that top note so it sounds better. Let's do actually A. Just going by ear here, there's no rules. There we go. Going for like a Travis Scott type vibe. Now let's go back to song mode in the playlist here. We're going to left click and add this in. So now we have the top line section, we have the harmony section, we have the contrast section. Now we just need rhythm. So here's where we add our drums. So beat making really comes down to 4 layers. I already missed my 15-minute target because I was trying to explain everything. But I showed you guys how you can literally open the program, how to save your program, how to open up your first plugin. I showed you guys how to make your piano roll look nice. I showed you guys how to make your first chord. I went over how to layer the 4 layers of your beat. So you've learned a lot in this video. It sounds simple, but it took me years to figure this out. So I've crystallized it to make it super streamlined for you guys. So now let's add the rhythm. Like I said in the very beginning of the video, this is the part where you guys have to go hunt some sounds. I'm going to give you the project files for free. If you guys go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio, I'll give you the project files for free. I'll show you where to find some stock sounds, but again, you're not going to get this in the stock sounds. Okay, so if you guys go to packs, you guys can mess with the legacy drums and then go to where it says vintage. This is a Roland TR-808 drum kit. Okay, so it has some sounds in there, but you're not going to find modern hip hop stuff in FL Studio stock sounds. So I'm not going to keep you guys chasing a rabbit that doesn't exist. So that's where you find sounds, is in the packs area. And then you could mess with different packs for different sounds. For the most part, let's go to our channel rack. We want a kick, which is like, we want a hi-hat, which is, we want a snare, which is, okay, so, okay, and then we want an 808, which is boom, all right? So let's find those sounds in our browser. Let's open up the browser right here, this button. And what I've done here is I've added my own hard drive. So if you guys do collect sounds on your external, let me show you guys how to save your files. Go to where it says options in the top here, and then go to where it says file settings. Here you can import different folders into FL Studio, and when you import those folders, it will show up on your browser like this. So basically, you click this little folder icon, you find your folder on your computer. I'll go to my external thing. I have a folder called Friends Sounds. Where is that at? Friends Sounds. Okay, and then over here you can name it something. So we'll call this Friends Sounds New, just so you guys can see it. So I have 2 things to say Friends Sounds, because one's already the friend sounds folder. Okay, now what we have to do from here is hit the refresh button in the top left of the browser, and then see this folder says friend sounds new. Okay, so it's the same location, but I'm just showing you guys how to add sounds to your project. Now we didn't do a lot of like finessing with the MIDI here because I'm trying to keep this less than 30 minutes. Nextly, let's go to pattern 4 because now we're going to start drawing out some drums. So let's go to pattern 4 here, left click, go to pattern 4, and let's find some drums. All right, so we're going to go to Metro's kit here. Where we at here? Let's go to Lunch 77 Metro. Again, you guys got to chase down these sounds. There's no one place to get sounds. Reddit has a lot of the stuff that's, you know, it just has a ton of stuff. Let's go to snares, start here. I like to start with snares first. We're going to right click and open a new channel. Okay, that's going to add that sound to our puzzle piece shaping thing called the channel rack. All right, so now we have that snare as an option here. Let's find a hi-hat, a closed hi-hat. Let's right click, open a new channel. So now that's added to our channel rack. Let's go to our kick. Let's right click, open a new channel. Now, one thing about samples, if you're a beginner and you don't know what this red thing is, just turn off where it says use the loop points, or else you're gonna get like a weird sound. Also, some samples are like weird, it says auto and all this. Just click here, go to resample, right click your time and hit R to reset. And also check under your volume envelope and make sure you reset the root note, okay? Because some samples are kind of quirky. So that's how you reset a sample in the sampler. That's for more intermediate to advanced folks. But anyhow, let's add an open hi-hat. Right click, open a new channel. So far we have a snare, we have a hi-hat, and we have a kick. Now we need to find an 808. Now the most popular 808 is the Spins 808. Shout out to DJ Spins for branding one of the most used 808s on the planet. We have this 808 here. It's called the Spins 808. We're going to right click, open that up. Again, you guys will get the project files for free, so don't try to memorize like everything I'm talking about. Now that we have all the sounds in FL Studio, again, you guys could use your own sounds if you're following along, but we're going to go to the channel rack here, left click, and highlight all of the sounds on the left side. Then we're going to hit Control L. That will send the sounds to our mixer. Because in the mixer, we could do stuff like saturation, distortion, whatever. Okay, so now we're on pattern 4. We need to add pattern 4 to the playlist under song mode, remember. We need to switch here, grab pattern 4 from the left side, drag it in. So nothing's happening right now. We're just laying out the puzzle pieces. Now we need to fill in the puzzle pieces, like aka draw on the puzzle piece. So let's double click in here to open up pattern 4. And here's where we can start building. So what I like to do is just click somewhere over here and then right click, fill each 2 steps when it comes to the hi-hat. So FL's kind of hard to like judge how long it needs to be. So just right click, fill each 2 steps. This is a great place to start because this is almost like creating your own metronome. Okay, now the snare goes on what's called the 3 and the 7. So if I turn the metronome back on, I'm going to count. And every time the metronome hits, it's a heartbeat. So it's 1, 2, snare, 4, 5, 6, snare, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's add a little metro. It goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, ta-ta-ta. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, ta-ta-ta. Okay, so that little hi-hat I added in here is that metro bounce. Now let's add our open hi-hat. 1, 2, psst, 2, and so boom, boom, psst, boom. Let's say boom, boom, psst, okay. Now let's add the boom, boom. The boom, boom sounds weird. So we're gonna add this. Now there's a pattern in hip hop and trap called tresillo. So it goes tresillo, tresillo. In drill, it goes ta 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 ta. That's the only pattern you need to memorize. It creates all the genres from mob music in the West Coast, hip hop, classic boom bap, trap, Afrobeat, reggaeton, boom, ka, ka, boom, ka, ka. It's all tresillo. Okay, so just get used to that pattern. Okay, so it goes boom, boom, boom. That's tresillo right there. Now you can move that around if you guys want to be more creative, but that's the pattern. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm going to call out tresillo. Tresillo, tresillo. So that's called tresillo. It's a nice bounce. So now you're like, okay, I can kind of hear the 808, but I can't. So now let's go to the Steinway. We're going to turn down what's called the channel volume. because we want to turn sounds down at the source most of the time. So let's turn that down here in the channel volume. So now the piano is a lot quieter. Now we're going to turn up the 808. Now I'm not going to use a kick for this beat, but if you guys wanted to add a kick, we could. A simple way is just click on your 808, hit Control C, Control V, and just paste it in the same timing as your 808. Kind of a cool blend here. But now the beat sounds kind of muddy and sloppy. The last thing we need to do in this beat is mix and then kind of deal with some of the effects. All right, so here's where we're going to get a little advanced pretty quickly, but just follow the steps if you guys are copying every single step. Let's go to the master. We're going to click on here. We're going to go to our plugins and let's add the Fruity Wave Shaper. This one's going to add what's called harmonics to your track to make it sound more filled out. We're going to click this cog icon in the bottom right. Turn your mix level to about 50% or less. Hit this little oversample button and crank this up to 4x. I like to hit the high quality button. And we're going to turn up this curvature to make it more of a convex curvature. You can even hear it in my voice. My voice will start to sound a little bit more buzzy. So that's what we're adding to the beat. We're adding like a buzz to it, a subtle buzz. Next plugin in slot 2. If you don't see this like view and you're like, what the heck is going on? Go to here to where it says compact 2 or wide. I'm not sure which the default one is. I keep mine on compact 2, the old school way, but your mixer might look like this. I don't like this view. So let's go back to compact 2. Also, if you don't see all the buttons, click these 2 icons here to show the plugins. And this one shows this little other section here. If you don't see that section at the bottom, your mixer might be too small. So just drag it to make it bigger like that. All right, so I forgot what I was talking about here. Oh, okay, let's click the drop down. Let's go to Fruity Soft Clipper. And this will just basically make sure we're not going over 0. We're going to turn the threshold to the right. This is called soft clipping, or excuse me, hard clipping. Soft clipping would be to the left. Okay, so we're going to turn that to the right. Now our beat sounds a lot bigger. And now we can do crazy stuff like turn the 808 up. So what I did here in the mixer is I turned this what's called a fader up. This is post everything. So me turning this up is after all of my other effects on the 808. If we wanted to turn the 808 up at the source, like before all our plugins, we would turn it up at the channel rack level. Very important, because a lot of people will try to turn their sounds up and down from the mixer and they're wondering why they're not getting like more of their effect. So the mixer is like, the fader is like the last thing I would touch for volume most of the time. Now the 808 is jumping. So let me show you guys a couple tips to make your stuff sound more pro. Let's go to the hi-hat. Just click on it. Go to the wrench tool. Go to where it says time shift. If you're in FL Studio 11 or below, it's called time offset and it's down here somewhere. So we're going to turn the time shift up like that. Now the hi-hat will be a little delayed after the track, so it won't sound so right on the grid, it's called. Now the 808 is kind of loud, so let's pull it back in volume. Now I want my kick to be a little more forceful, so let's turn the kick up with the channel volume here. There we go. Now we can turn up the 808. So let's say my 808 tone is in like right. It goes do the whole time. What we can do is give tonality to our 808. Let's right click, go to piano roll. So now we're taking these sequence notes and we're starting to create unique notes for it. So we're going to right click, go to piano roll. So now I can see the note values for my 808. If you guys struggle with 808, hit control up and you can hear the tonality. Right now it's not like matching the piano. And you see do. So let's hit shift down. Now it's more in key. Remember in our melody, we went one note, then a note up. So the same thing here. This is basically doing that. Let's hit control down to pull that back down. Let me again show you guys how to make your stuff sound pro. I'm just going to add in little notes here and I'm going to turn the velocity down. Now the grayed out stuff in the background is called a ghost channel. So if you click in the top left, go to view. That's what the ghost channel is. If I turn that off, you guys won't see that. So basically anything on the same channel rack pattern, the puzzle piece, you'll be able to see where the MIDI is. to help you guys trace patterns and stuff. So now I'm adding in this lower velocity 808. If you don't see the velocity, grab the ellipses here, left click, pull this up, go to where it says control, then go to where it says note velocity, and that's how you pull up this little velocity graph. So now we're adding a little stutter step. Let's go to our snare. Let's tune this down with the pitch here. If you ever want to fade out a sound, you guys can use the out parameter here to fade or shorten a sound. Same with the hi-hat. Just click on the hi-hat, go to the main page. You guys can trim the hi-hat to get rid of all the excess blankness and then hit fade out. Trim some of that reverb off. Let's go to the open hi-hat. Let's go to the wrench tool, turn up time shift, so it's not so on the grid. All right, now I'm gonna show you guys my secret sauce and then we'll wrap this up. On the piano, I'm trying to decide how I want to do this. I guess we'll do it on a different track. So let's open up the mixer. So remember, the mixer is where we can add effects and stuff. Let's go to a blank area called Insert 8. Let's right click, call this Reverb. We're going to open up Fruity. Actually, let's do Lexverb. I forgot we have Lexverb now. Or not Lexverb, my bad, Luxverb. Shout out to Luxverb. Shout out to Lex Luger. We're going to turn the reverb on and then turn on where it says feedback. And I'm trying to decide, do I want to do it this way? Yeah, let's try it. Okay, so let's turn up what's called the gain, and then we're going to turn up the high cut. So now I'm going to send my piano to that reverb. To do that, I'm going to right click and rename this and give it a color so you guys can see. We're going to go to our piano, left click these up arrows at the bottom to send a signal to that channel. And then to turn it down, you just left click and turn it down like that. Now my piano is going to this reverb channel, and it has this unique reverb sound. And it's filling out the sound. Now, if you guys want to go pro level very quickly in slot 2, let's open up Gross Beat. So if you guys see this technique used by anybody, I created it first, so you know they're copying off your boy. Go to Gross Beat. It's okay if you guys use it, but if anybody claims they made this up, cap. Okay, go to Gross Beat. Let's go to presets. Let's go to momentary. Let's go to half speed, and then let's pull back the time knob here. So now we have a slowed down reverb, and we have the original reverb. Creates a nice haunted sound. Sounds crazy. Let me show you guys something you can do with FL you probably didn't know. I'm just showing you guys sauce, just to inspire you guys. So I need you to subscribe. If that was sauce for you, please subscribe. I don't want to have to beg you again. I'll give you 2 seconds. 1, 2, okay. If you go to Steinway Piano, open up Fruity Delay 3. And, all right, Fruity Delay 3. Now here's the technique. Turn your dry level all the way down. Turn feedback level all the way down, turn delay time all the way down, okay, and turn off tempo sync, and basically everything else becomes an effect. Just start twisting knobs and you'll hear it. So basically time modulation under time, if I turn this up, it creates that wobbly sound, that sound. It makes it sound really creepy. So now we have a really creepy vibe. I'm gonna go to the master channel here and let's see what it sounds like with soft clipping. I'm just curious. It's that crunchy Playboy Cardi type sound. So you guys don't need a bunch of sounds to make a beat that feels full. It's just about all those steps. Remember, a beat is really just top line, the harmony section, which is your chords, the contrast layer, which is like your bass layer, and then the rhythm section. only took 35 minutes, but you guys just made your first beat. You learned pro level sauce, like pro level sound design sauce. And you guys will get the project files for free if you go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Name a better deal. Name a better deal. Smash the like button if I hooked you up. Subscribe if you're new. I will have more beginner videos. And what else is there to tell y'all? If you want the foundation of like how to turn this 8-bar idea into like a full song, go to busyworksbeats.com/music theory essentials. That's all my music theory teaching, where I go through like how to song structure, how to make beats from scratch, how to make melodies from scratch, how to make chords from scratch, how to do bass lines from scratch, modes explain, scales explain, moods behind music, then move into what's called music theory magic. That's the next level up. That goes into really deep science about how to generate mood through music, in short. And then from there, I go into melody mastery. And that's where you got to go through those courses in order to really comprehend melody mastery. So all that is at busyworksbeats.com/premium. Subscribe if you're new. It's completely free. And guys, I want you guys to get this project files for free. So you have these drums. Go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. I know that was a lot of links, so I'm just going to leave everything below. Subscribe if you're new. Peace out, guys. I didn't make it in 15 minutes, but you did learn some extra sauce. Share with a friend. Peace out, guys.